It was just after 6:30 a.m. when the first shots were fired.
I remember everything. I remember every detail. It doesn't leave me. It was a day that I don't think I'll ever be able to forget.
Kfar Aza, a kibbutz only 3 kilometers from the Gaza border, was one of the first reached by Hamas on that October Saturday morning. Residents hid in their shelters, unsure what was happening outside.
We didn't know anything. We didn't have light. We didn't have water. It was a hard day. Sad day.
It seemed like the end of the world. My house was shaking from all the rockets that were coming out of Gaza. That's how close it is. And in a WhatsApp group, somebody wrote that they can hear shooting. That was the Hamas terrorists killing people already. And then we heard the shooting coming closer and closer to the house, and then they shot the house. And then we heard them walking inside the house next to the door of the little shelter. You could hear the steps, and they were shouting and screaming in Arabic. And they started shooting around us. There must have been something like 15 terrorists, some of them with knives, some of them with guns, and they shot us inside the house.
It was 12 hours before the Israeli military arrived. It then took them days to retake the kibbutz. Finally, on Tuesday morning, after 3.5 days of fighting, the longest battle was over. 64 Israelis had been killed. Aviv Baram died defending the kibbutz.
After he has been injured, he called Heli and said, Heli, I'm injured. And she asked him if he can move a bit. And he moved close to the big olive tree. And that's where we found him, where the army found him. And the last time that he wrote for Heli that, I love you all.
"18 residents had also been taken hostage by Hamas. Some dead, some alive. They were forced into Gaza.
They pushed us, and Keith fell, and they broke his ribs, and they shot us, and one of the bullets hit Keith's hand. I remember going through the Michshol, that's the big, huge fence. It was just open, and we just drove into Gaza.
Kfar Aza today is a ghost village. A few people have returned, if their houses are still standing.
Why did you choose to move back?
I didn't see any other option except to live in my house, my land. It's what I owe to this country, what I owe to my father. This is the education that I got. You never leave the house, you never leave the land. So we came back.
Massive weekly protests have been held across Israel, demanding a ceasefire and a hostage deal. It hasn't happened. 97 of the hostages taken on October the 7th are still being held in Gaza. Aviva Siegel was released last November. Her husband, Keith, wasn't.
I bent down to him and said that I'm going to Israel and that he must be strong for me and I'll be strong for him. And that's how we separated. He didn't say a word. He was in a shock. I was in a shock. I didn't believe. I don't know what Keith thought. I've got no idea what Keith thought. And he managed that moment.
He said nothing.
He said nothing.
October the 7th changed everything. For millions, it was the day normal life paused. A year on, the war in Gaza continues and conflict has spread across the region. More than 42,000 have been killed in Gaza, but Hamas remains undefeated. Benjamin Netanyahu promised Israelis total victory over their enemies. It is unclear when or how that will come.